Hey guys, I thought I'd show you a few tricks I've learned using TacView to analyze a mission that I think is kind of helpful. This is a quick little SA15 drill that I put in the mission editor. I have a couple of SA10 inactive units sitting around it, but you notice here when you start out, this is kind of like a VCR interface here, right? So this is total flight all the way through my flight that I can scrub through. This shows major events that if you just go ahead and click on, it'll fast forward to that particular event, which here is the launching of an AGM. And you can see it actually correlates on the display here. What's cool about this is up at the top, you can go ahead and pick a relationship between any two objects. So for instance, between my ship and the SA-15, for instance, it will show right now a distance vector, and you can see it's about 9.1 miles out. This red shows the, by the way, the engagement envelope of the SA-15. Um, but what's cool about this part here is when you're watching, you can actually show flight lines of what the objects in which direction they're heading for to see if you've been locked on. So for instance, you can see my flight vector is this light blue line here showing the direction that I'm currently pointing. And now you'll see when the Mavericks fire, when I come on scene here, I'm putting it now real time. Now you see the Maverick take off. So now if I can come up here, I can switch to the Maverick itself, right? And now it'll go ahead and if I take off this correlation line, which shows the distance, it overlays it. It happened to have been the same because it was the direct line of sight. You can see the direction that the AGM is currently heading in. Right now, that becomes really useful in a minute when you see the SA-15 fire off. Its missile, I thought it was coming for me, and then I came back and I looked through here, and you'll be able to see that, in fact, it's not. I ripple fire a second one here, knowing that I'm going up against an SA-15. And so you'll see if you wanted to, I could just go ahead and pop right to the next event, which is when he actually fires, right? So now you can see this is the moment of firing. If fast forward and froze it, you can see currently the missile line of sight is straight up in the air because that's how they pop, as you know. Now if I come out here, now you'll see the missile line of sight change, right? So you can see me off in the distance here now, starting to panic, and I was dropping flares and chaff and starting some evasive maneuver when in fact it wasn't even hitting for me. Because you can see the line of sight always pretty much stays on these missiles incoming. It's nice to know, by the way, that the SAs miss themselves sometimes. So you see it misses that missile and now it peels off, never even pointing at me. And if I were to go see, you actually can kind of see some of my flares coming off. Um, and so it doesn't hit them. Now it'll fire a second one here in a sec, and you'll see these guys are inbound here. There's the second one that just popped. All right, so if I go to here, now this one you'll notice, boom, it tracks right on this missile right here and takes it out, right? So that's right where it took it out. You can see actually the explosive hitbox right there, which becomes interesting here because now if I switch and focus on this second AGM, which is going in, you'll see that the vector is not right on the target. And the interesting part, I didn't notice this until I looked at the analysis like this, right? So when you zoom in here, see how it's actually, I can go free camera, I guess, but I'll just leave it right here. This is because I use force correlate mode to get the shot off from 10 nautical miles. And so I'm not technically locked on, but being that this is what the H is, I think it's a 150-pound warhead. You'll see it slams and clearly takes out enough to where it takes out the vehicle, which is pretty cool. I wouldn't have known that before, actually. So now what's kind of fun is now I'm going to go ahead and show you it actually even models the individual shells that come off. It fires, I fire 93 shells apparently in this volley, which is kind of cool. Watch, it also does the ricochets. So you see the ricochets come up, and it tells me that I hit that particular unit 56 times of those 90 plus shells that fired, and then I'll obviously pull off. You can also switch to a HUD view, which will show you the actual view that you would have, and you can see kind of your metrics of as you're flying to go back and look. So anyway, I kind of find it fun. There are a lot of things you can do with it as well, and switch between the different objects, and it's really pretty good for analysis. So anyway, I also wanted to experiment with this screen capturing software. So Good luck.